Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Thank you for staying with us. The Edo People's Democratic Party governorship candidate, Dr. Asue Godalo, has described last Thursday's Federal High Court judgment that voided the primary election, which produced him as a distraction. Ighodalo made his comments at a meeting with party members at PDP's National Secretariat in Abuja. Arise correspondent Mary Chinda reports.
It's his first public appearance at the PDP headquarters since Thursday's court judgment, which has since been described by the PDP as unacceptable.
I know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. We've already seen the signs that this is going to be a difficult election, not on the issues, but on distractions. But sometimes distractions are more difficult to deal with than issues. But I know that we have leaders here who are more than capable to set the ball rolling and to lift us higher. And myself, what I want to say, sir, is this, that we'll give this everything we have. We'll give it 150% commitment. We will ensure that we make this our great party extremely proud.
Here, members of the Edo Campaign Council, led by Governor Fintiri, gather to perfect plans on how to win the Edo polls regardless.
Yes, there's a little setback, temporarily. God will see us through it. I'm referring to the 3 days, 3 days ago's court judgment. Anybody who peruse and look through the entire process, you know that is a child's play. This is what will not stand in the court of law, particularly that will be approaching the court of appeal.
To say that PDP continues to negotiate. I have never wavered and I will never waver. PDP is in my DNA, and I will assure and ensure and do all that is necessary that victory is ours come September.
As for Governor Fintiri, who leads the campaign council as chairman with the FCT minister Nyesom Wike as member, the party refuses to be distracted and will only intensify their campaign efforts.
I don't see anything happening as distraction in Edo. It is normal when you are playing this game with desperate politicians. They will always go out of their ways to do no matter what is bad, to make it look as if it is the order of the day. But
no, it doesn't worry me. It's a distraction and it's to be expected. You know, when people don't have issues to discuss, they will cause distractions. So that's the way we see it. And with the help and advice of senior party members like His Excellency and other senior members, we know how to approach this issue. So we see that as a distraction, but it doesn't deter us. We are focused on, by God's grace, delivery from the people of Edo State.
Ighodalo emerged Guber candidate after a primary election held in Benin City on the 22nd of February 2024. Mary Chinda, Arise News.
That was PDP Edo State chapter trying to put his house in order ahead of what promises to be one heck of an electoral battle in the next few weeks. But for greater introspection and, of course, an attempt at predicting what to expect, we're now being joined from our Arise Abuja studios by Tony Okonigene, a member of the Edo State PDP Executive Council and spokesman for the Asue Ogie Governorship Campaign Council. Good morning, Mr. Okonigene. Good to have you join us on the morning show today.
Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Sheyi, I greet you. Good morning, happy Sunday.
Good morning.
And I believe that's Adeswa.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
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 All right, thank you very much, Tony. Let's dive straight into it. There is a bit of concern. There are issues around the candidacy of Mr. Asue Godalo, as you are aware. But talk us through what is actually happening and the understanding of your party as to the judgment that was delivered last week, and then the meeting of yesterday, which, you know, from the clip that we played earlier, I'm not sure whether you saw it, but of course I know that you've been following it. The chairman of the campaign council for the election in September, the governor of Adamawa, Fintiri, is saying that there is a setback, but that it is temporary. How bad is the situation, and what's your understanding of what is actually going on?
Well, Steve, I want to say that PDP, as a law-abiding party, we take every pronouncement of the courts very seriously. PDP is not a party that will now say that you just brush aside any judgment from the court or any pronouncement from the court. No matter how ridiculous or whatever a court judgment looks, you must take it seriously. I can tell you today that, Steve, if a court of law, if a judge sits in the court and tells you that, Steve, you are a woman, and you now look at that thing as ridiculous, and that you will not take it serious and allow it to slide, I can tell you that before the law, you are not a woman. So you must take any pronouncement from the court seriously if you are somebody that is law-abiding. And that is what the PDP is doing. So I want you to just explain why the chairman made that statement. It's not a cause of concern for us as a party going into these elections, because we have a candidate and we have a deputy also with him that are the best that we produce for Edo State. And we also have a candidate that has brought out a robust manifesto. What the PDP, what we are concentrating on now is to educate Edo people on the manifesto of our party. And I want to advise the APC distractors, because like my candidate has said and everybody has said, these are just distractions. Because if you have nothing to campaign with, the only thing you try to bring in are distractions. And unfortunately, in this our climes, distractions sometimes become more difficult to deal with than issues. Because if somebody has nothing to campaign with, I want to look at this judgment that was just dispensed. First of all, if I tell you that the PDP that we are surprised about the outcome of that judgment, then some will not be saying the whole truth. If you have been following trends, the moment this case was taken to Justice Eko's court, PDP, through one of the affiliates, wrote to the NJC stating our concerns about Justice Eko's involvement in this case. In 2023, when we had that long battles between the Danobi faction and Obaseki's faction in our party, if you watch the Danobi's faction, all the procured victories they had came from this same Justice Eko. And they are dealing with the same issues that could not stand in the appeal court and in the Supreme Court. It is very clear that delegates, and Justice Eko was made to understand that when he delivered that his judgment during the legacy group, giving victory to the Danobi's delegates. The appeal court said that it's not justiciable because delegates cannot sue. It's only aspirants that have participated in the primary, that can sue and question. And you can only question the processes if the constitution has been breached, or the electoral has been breached, or the constitution of the party has been breached. It guides how you can question these things. So we are very, very confident that this thing is just the shenanigans that was played out in 2023 by the Danobi faction with some key actors that are still there. That is what is still going on. And Justice Eko is very, very sure that this judgment will not stand the test of time. Every reasonable person knows it will not stand the test of time. So we are not distracted. We are focused and our eyes are on the ball. We are going into these campaigns.
What parts of the judgment do you disagree with? What do you have against the judgment specifically? What is the issue with the judgment?
No, the only thing there is that we don't have any issue with the judgment because no matter how beautifully coined, how beautifully rehearsed, how beautifully put a judgment is, once a court lacks jurisdictions, it amounts to nothing. It's a nullity. It amounts to no effect. And again, Justice Eko, if you watch, what he cleverly did, he just made a pronouncement that he knows will be unenforceable. Steve, like now, you're already...
Sorry, sir. I'd like to ask here if you're implying that Justice Inyang Eko has acted outside the bounds of his duty. He was previously found by the NJC to have been abusing his discretionary power as a judge, and was actually banned from being elevated to a higher bench for 2 years. Now, I'm asking if you're saying that this particular justice is the issue, or if you believe that it is the case itself. Do you believe Justice Inyang Eko has a case to answer? Let me answer that by giving you this. Look at the scenario that it is now.
the pronouncements that he made, that one, that is giving an injunction that they should not stop this so-called disenfranchised delegates from participating in the coming, as he put it, the coming February 22nd, 2024 PDP primary. He's now also saying that they are the rightful people that will take part in the February 22nd, 2024 PDP primary. It's like a judge coming up to say that, look, we have, you are now an employee of channels of Arise TV. You have been giving letters, you are already working there, you have been earning salaries. Then a judge will now come and give an injunction saying that, Sheyi, you are not, Arise, don't employ Sheyi, don't pay her salaries. Meanwhile, she has already been employed and she has already been paid in everything. Or a woman that has met a man and the man has impregnated this woman and the woman has already given birth. And the judge will now come and say, look, don't sleep with this woman so that she will not get pregnant at all, so that she will not give birth to you. That is what is happening. We call pronouncements that are unenforceable. But then, if you just want to please, maybe there are pressures on you and you want to please them, and you give that kind of a pronouncement and say, oh, go and let them go and take part in February 22nd, which is past, or any other date that INEC will fix. And there's no any other date INEC will fix because all the days have passed. So we have an unenforceable judgment that is on ground and that lacks any merit that cannot be enforced. If you take that judgment to INEC now, what are you going to tell INEC to do? That INEC should go and conduct election on 22nd of February. So the only reason why we are appealing this judgment is to look at jurisdiction and also to bring to NJC this ridiculous attempt to rubbish the judiciary. That is the only thing we are going to be talking of in the appeal court. The judgment did not touch on the candidacy of our candidate, neither did it touch on say anything about the primary. It only made some ridiculous pronouncement that we feel are unenforceable. So we are going to appeal court to check the jurisdiction. Does the High Court in the first place have the mandate to even look into delegate cases? That is what we are going to court for. Not for our candidate, not for this thing. We are focused on the ball. We are not distracted.
All right, then I'd like to just come in here quickly and ask you this. There has been claims about the current governor's involvement. There's a perception that Governor Godwin Obaseki has an overbearing role in the primary process. And this was the special advisor on media projects to the Edo State Governor, Crusoe Osage, said that the APC was employing divisionary tactics ahead of the September 21 governorship elections. I'd like to know your thoughts on this. Is there any proof to this, or what exactly, why are these claims being made?
Well, I have never seen a governor that will not have an interest in who succeeds him, especially a governor that is very passionate about what he has done and what he has put on ground. But when it comes to the primaries talking about the just concluded primaries of the PDP, it was something that was televised worldwide, and you were all there. 8 of the aspirants, 1 or 2 of them who are now complaining, we are in the stadium that day. They even canvassed for votes from the delegates that they are now claiming are not their delegates. 8 were there. How these things are, how you run primaries, you start by picking 3 ad hoc delegates from each ward. There are 192 wards in Edo State. So these 192 wards, we pick 3 delegates that will now come to the center with one delegate per local government at the national. I don't know whether the governor will now go to each ward and start picking the 3 delegates or what you say they did. Because the delegates, something was also captured. We ensured that they were also televised. They captured them live. So when they do this, by the leaders and the party members in each ward, they now come to convert to now say, okay, this is who we are going to bring out. You see, I have not seen any of them coming out to say that I would have won or I had majority delegates that would have won. They are just talking of the overbearing this thing of the governor. If you watch any of them that is complaining, let me start with Comrade Philip Shaibu, with all due respect. Philip is not the brightest person we have in Edo State. That you became a House of Assembly member, majority member, House of Rep member, deputy governor. And, if not for influences of 1 or 2 people that brought him to that stage. You cannot just come here and now saying that there are influences. Yes, a governor has the right to say this, to make his own choice. But I don't think it is right or it is true that Obaseki had any influence on it. I was a member, not just a member. I was the publicity secretary of the screening committee that was set up by Edo Central Senatorial District, for us to narrow down on a particular candidate among the lots that came up. And I can tell you that, I can say it authoritatively and with the fear of God and everything here, that at no time as publicity secretary was I told, or did I sit with the governor, or they came and told us in the team that, look, let us direct our primaries towards Aswe Godalo. It was based on credibility, capacity, and what we saw in him, and the whole this thing. And most of the other aspirants willingly stepped down for him. So before we went there. So when we start talking of the governor having overbearing influence, I want to say that is not correct.
All right. Let's look at the pathway to victory and how all these issues around people complaining, particularly the delegates that were denied access to voting during the primary, how all these can affect the chances of your candidate in the September election. One is to ask you, how are you addressing the issues? The language that you have used on former Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu, is a bit uncomplimentary, and people will wonder that somebody who was with the governor for 7 years, they were together in the trenches, fought the godfather Adams Oshiomhole together, but today is not on your side, even though he tried to be the candidate himself. So you'll be going into the election without Philip Shaibu, with whom the governor fought to get power in 2020 and, of course, in 2016. What is also important is that the current president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you recall, in 2020, made a broadcast against the candidacy of Governor Obaseki then. You remember when he called himself the father of all Democrats and made a passionate appeal why Edo State voters should ignore the candidacy of the governor for re-election. But the politics that happened within APC, the politics that got Adam Oshiomhole out as the chairman, and which eventually supported, one way or the other, the emergence of Governor Obaseki at that time. You do not have that advantage anymore. You'll be running without, your candidate will be running without Philip Shaibu's, political capital. You'll be running against the perceived influence of the president who 4 years ago campaigned openly against Mr. Obaseki. How surmountable are all these hurdles for you, given the fact that you are, PDP is in the opposition?
What we are not going to allow in Edo State is to allow what happened in 2015 at the national level to happen in the state. You see, we were taken aback and so occupied by the distractions that the APC threw out. This APC came out with so much propaganda, so much lies, which the people bought into, most of the people bought into, about bringing the dollar, the naira down to the dollar, bringing fuel down, food prices down, a lot of things that APC came with propaganda and said that they were going to address that the PDP was not doing. You see, election is about the people. It's about what the people are the ones that will choose their leaders. In Edo State now, that pace has been set. Edo State is about one of the few states where you cannot stand up and impose any candidate on the people. The people is so enlightened, it's a so enlightened state that all these variables, come to naught when it comes to Edo State. Because if you watch during the time of Adams Oshiomhole's second tenure, yes, PDP was in power. We were at the federal level. We were everything when Oshiomhole came in for his second tenure. But because of the perception of the people then that, this man at least was doing a bit well, with all this thing that went against him at federal level with PDP address, Oshiomhole won 18 of the out of the 18 local governments. That's PDP for you. I mean, that's Edo State for you. Edo State voters do not, all these parameters of calling this person is a big shot there, you are a president, you are this, it doesn't work with us. We look at credibility, capacity, and the credentials of the candidates that you are putting forward. With all the whole hula baloo about APC they did in the last elections, with Tinubu's Buhari being in power and the rest, they could not win Edo State. Peter Obi won Edo State. Why? Because Edo people sat down and looked at the three candidates and said, no, Obi is our best bet. So PDP for now, we are not distracted. If you watch all the people who are making noise in PDP now, they are the ones that want the status quo to remain. Governor Obaseki has come to change the dynamics of the party in the state. Governor Obaseki has come to open the space so that new people, brilliant young people can come up and try their hands in governance of Edo State. That is why you find out that we are having new set of people coming. The people who are crying, let us start from all of them. Just watch all of them. Is there somebody that has been chairman before, that has been deputy governor before, that has been House of Reps before, that has been this before, who are no longer there? They are the ones who hear them crying. You don't see young men like us crying, the people that have not had this opportunity, which Obaseki has opened the space for us. I can tell you that Edo people are not being distracted with all these things. PDP is on course. We have a candidate that is credible. We have a candidate that has the capacity, and we have the candidate that has the capability to deliver. And he has brought an unprecedented manifesto before the Edo people. And that is what we are going to be using to canvass for votes for our people, for them to buy into this. We are going to the field. APC should forget about this idea of thinking that one court or the other will go and nullify the candidacy of Asue Godalo, and they will go into the field without Barrister Asue Godalo. They should put it in mind. We have less than 2 months or so to the election. We are in July. This is in September. The election petitions that are down, even if we grant it to them, even for any reason, these petitions are going to run their full courses. And we have 60 days from appeal court to Supreme Court. By the time the Supreme Court will be done, the elections would have been over. Barrister Asue Godalo would have been sworn in as governor of Edo State. And these things will have become status bar. So they should just have it in mind. I don't know whether their lawyers are not advising this, their followers. They should prepare for elections. Let us go into the field. Bring your candidate, let him come and address the people. Bring up his manifesto to the people and let the people say, Edo State is not like any other state. That's what I want you to know, sir.
Well, thank you, sir. There, now you have said that Mr. Asue Ighodalo, the candidate of the PDP, has capacity, and that you said that his manifesto is unprecedented. So, well, I would like you to explain the ways in which Asue Ighodalo's manifesto is unprecedented. What is he actually bringing to the people of Edo State that is different from the other candidates, particularly the Labour Party candidate and the APC candidates?
Well, if you watch his manifesto, they are hinged on some pillars. One of the pillars is the welfare of the people. You see, we have to look at the welfare of the people. You must put money in the pockets of the people. You must generate businesses. Edo State must generate businesses that will put money into the pockets of the people, that will give the people opportunities to make money for themselves. So one of his key areas is to ensure that the welfare of the people, when it comes to health, when it comes to everything that pertains welfare, that he's going to ensure that these things are taken care of for the people. We're also looking at security. Without security, whatever welfare you put in place, whatever you do, you cannot attract investors. And being an investment banker, somebody that's been attracting investors to grow policies and to grow businesses, is in the best place to know how to bring in the funds. Edo State IGR now, you cannot use that IGR to now say that you want to do anything meaningful. One of his major priorities is that we need to grow the IGR. How do you grow the IGR? We need to look for people with funds that are ready to invest. And thank God, Governor Godwin Obaseki has laid the foundation for all these foreign investors that will come. You see, people keep talking of MOU. That is why those people should not allow APC to come in, because when they come in, they will come and destroy all this. And when you destroy a foundation before you come and start starting, just like they did at the national level, with all what the PDP laid on ground, what Jonathan laid on ground, you just brought in somebody that did not understand the dynamics of all these things. You just destroyed the foundation, and Nigeria cannot pick up again. I can tell you, unless we have an Asue Ighodalo that has been in the economic team of the state, that is in the foundation, that things are going on, who knows how to sustain, how to the minimum wage of 70,000 naira and increase it, unless we have somebody like that taking over. If you have somebody coming in that doesn't understand this basis, they will all collapse. So he is taking the issue of continuity. Very, is part of his manifesto to continue where Governor Obaseki has done well. his education in the terms of education, in terms of agriculture, and all those things. You see that Obaseki has been laying foundations. You look at the industries that are coming in, investors are getting interested in Edo State. Those are the areas that we are trying to, a government of continuity is what his manifesto is all about. The APC has not given us their own manifesto. They have not told us what they want to do. They are just criticizing, talking that there is flood here, there is no flood here. Floods that you can walk in. Go to Lagos, APC states. The floods that are there, you can go and there and walk inside there. You know, you can't do all those things. So the Aswe Godalo, he has put his manifesto out, and we are going to be addressing this issue, the manifesto one by one, and selling it to Edo people. And this is on this basis we want the Edo people to take their decisions, not on propaganda, not on whether somebody delegates who are falsified or all those things. You want to disqualify somebody. They have not come to tell us that, look, we are thinking that our candidate is better in the area of capacity, in the area of credibility. That is not what they are preaching. What they are preaching are remove this man so that our candidate anyhow can come in. You know, just like you package somebody for us at the national level and look at where we are finding ourselves. So it is not, we are not going to allow that in Edo State.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Mr. Tony Okonigene, a member of Edo State PDP Executive Council and spokesman for the Aswe Ogie Governorship Campaign Council. We appreciate your time and analysis this morning on The Morning Show.